Welcome to another episode of Meal Prep Monday. I'm your host, Allison Schaaf, and today I'm going to talk about 3 different ways that you can use the Prep Dish meal plans. If you have not tried out the meal plans, head to prepdish.com/MPM, that's short for Meal Prep Monday, and give us a try for 2 weeks. So go ahead and do that if you're not a subscriber already, and then come back here and listen in, and I'll explain 3 different ways that you can use the meal plans. Let's dive in. So I wanted to go over 3 different options. So with the meal plans, let me back up first. With the plans, one thing I have found over the years with subscribers is in order to see success, the key is really to make the plans work for you and work around your lifestyle. So, and one thing is, shifting the ingredients, right? Like maybe shifting the portions to fit your family, making some substitutions. So like if you don't like broccoli, buy green beans instead. So just really learning to edit the plans as needed. And I think that comes over time. I think the first kind of few weeks, it's like, okay, just follow it as written. But then over time, make those substitutions, those edits. And then today I'm going to dive into 3 different ways to use the meal prep piece. Just because I think sometimes people are like, oh, let me just follow this exactly. And then I just want you to kind of think through oh, how could I use this to fit where I'm at in my life right now? Or maybe this week, right? Oh, I usually follow the meal plans this way, but this week looking at my schedule, this isn't going to work. So you can change week to week, how you use them. So first way to use the meal plans is to do the meal prep all at once. This is the way the plans were intended, okay? The second piece of each plan is prep day. This is very specific instructions of how to spend an hour or 2 doing all of your prep for the week. So this is chopping your vegetables, mixing sauces, getting everything ready. So then mealtime is quick and easy. So this would be setting aside an hour on Sunday afternoon or Monday evening to get all of that done in one sitting, and you're good to go. Use it that way. This is great if you do have a kind of a block of time that you can devote. If you have a week where mealtime, you're literally going to have very hectic meal time and you don't have time to do anything. So, use this method when you can set aside a block of time. And if you're just starting out, I would actually encourage you to just try this a time or 2. And I would encourage you to start with the super fast plans, because those super fast plans, the prep time is going to be shorter. And then if you want to try the other ones, you can. If you're trying the paleo or gluten-free or even keto, one thing to keep in mind is to edit it. So maybe remove the snack and the breakfast item or the dessert. If you're not going to eat that week, that'll just cut down on the time. So that way, if you are choosing to do the meal prep all at once, it's a little less overwhelming in the beginning. And then as you go on, you can kind of add in some of those other meal items. Okay, the second way to use the meal plans is to break up the meal prep. So maybe you do part of it as you're preparing Monday night's dinner. So you don't even have to set aside meal prep time, right? It's Monday at 4:30, you wrapped up work, you're home, you have kind of an hour before dinner, get that night's dinner ready. And as you're getting that night's dinner ready, chop all your vegetables. That's half the effort right there. And then kind of pack those all away. And then the next night on Tuesday, maybe finish up the prep work. As you're making dinner, mix up the sauces. Or maybe Tuesday morning, as you're making breakfast, you have an extra 20 minutes and you can kind of look at that prep day list and, knock that out. What I like to do on my actual prep day sheet is as I finish a task, I do a little check. I mean, also, just check marks are very satisfying. I don't know. Some of you might agree with me, but make sure to mark up those meal plans when you print them. Do little check marks. So that way, this is also great if you are splitting up your days. So you can kind of know where you left off and where to pick up at the next kind of time that you have in your kitchen. So this is really great, especially if you have little kids and you don't know when you're going to have a pocket of time. You can just kind of have the plan printed in your kitchen. And when you do get that pocket of time, just jump in and start prepping. The third option when it comes to using the meal plans is to not use prep day at all. So if you are a premium subscriber, we have something called separated recipes. It's sort of like what it sounds. So when you look at our meal plans, they're not split up into a typical recipe. This is very intentional. So when we put together those meal plans, we don't have a software system that's like spitting recipes into a plan and then giving it to you. No, like our plans are all done by hand. They're edited 2 times to make sure that they are really structured to get you through prep day as efficiently as possible. We really want to make sure that like the meals go together. So there is not any sort of tech that we use to put together our meal plans. So that being said, when we pull them apart, we do separated recipes. These are just individual recipes. So if you have a week where you're like, I would rather just make my dinner each night, totally works. And we have you covered with the separated recipes. So use the grocery list, buy the groceries for the week, and then print out the separated recipes. And each night at dinner time, so Monday night, you pull out the recipe and you make the recipe. So this is still going to save you a significant amount of time. One, you're not having to think about what's for dinner tonight. You can just go into the kitchen. It's printed. You have the groceries. You just follow the recipe. But the thing I will say is if you are going to use this method, make sure to check out that separated recipe sheet, which is available again for premium subscribers. So that way you're not having to look at the meal plan and the prep day and getting confused. It's, the meal plan is numbered, so each meal can be separated out. But if you're doing the entire week separated out, then you really want individual recipes. So that's another way that you can use the plans. And keep in mind, like I said, with these 3 options, the all at once, so doing prep day all at once, splitting prep day up into kind of multiple little prep sessions, or not doing any prep and just doing the recipe, making the recipes at mealtime. These options are all there for you at any time, right? So, you might want to, if you're just starting out, or hey, maybe you're a seasoned Prep Dish subscriber and you've never thought to do this split up meal prep option, take a week and try it out. So maybe try all of these different options and see what works for you. And just keep in mind, I think sometimes we go into autopilot, like, oh, I've always done the prep this way. But if you have a different commitment or something that's coming up that's kind of shifting your time or your schedule, maybe this is a good time to reflect and be like, oh, is this the best way to utilize these plans? Is there a way that I could utilize them in a different way? I know for me and in my life, there are times when I have always done prep day. I've always, set aside the time to do the prep. And then there's other times with kids where it's like, okay, that's not possible. So I break it up into, multiple kind of little mini prep sessions throughout the week and just get it done when I can. So really figuring out how you can use the plans to best suit your needs. I hope this was helpful. I'd love to hear from you. I'm at Prep Dish on Instagram, and maybe I'll even put a poll up in stories this week of, how are you using the meal plans? Are you doing the all at once meal prep? Are you doing kind of a split up meal prep? Do you do the separated recipes and just make, each meal each night? Or maybe it's a combo. Maybe you are already toggling back and forth and using the plans differently each week. I hope this helps. If you have suggestions for future episodes, as always, you can reach out. I'm at Prep Dish. If you have been listening to this podcast for a while, or maybe you're a new listener and you have not left a rating and review, I would so appreciate that. That just helps other people to find this podcast and to find Prep Dish. And if you're not already subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you can listen in each Monday. That's all I have for this week, and I will be back again next Monday with another episode.